Page. It is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on WCCS, AM 1160, FM 101.1. We're Facebook Living this event again here this morning on Indiana in the Morning. And we're talking with the folks from the Indiana Players. Bill Herring is the director. Dave Cavill plays Elwood, and Sharon Smith plays Vita. And if I'm saying those names, why, it must be Harvey that we're doing. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's good. Wow, you did that so well. It's good to have you all in the studio with us here today. Doing Harvey in Indiana, PA might be considered to be quite the risk. David, you are Elwood V. Dowd.
Yeah, is it a risk?
Is it?
I think it's a fine tradition, is what I would call it.
There you go. That's a good approach. That's a good approach to it. So, show dates, times.
Yeah. We open September 15th. We will be 15th, 16th, and 17th. And then also on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, which is the following weekend.
So next 2 weekends.
Next 2 weekends.
Yep, this coming Friday.
This coming Friday at 7:30. The show starts. Doors open at 7. That's Fridays and Saturdays at 7:30, and Sundays at 2:30.
All right. So the next 2 weekends, boys and girls. That's what we're talking about. Harvey. For the Indiana Players at the Philadelphia Street Playhouse. So, Bill, you're the guy that is directing this wonderful cast, and you've got a tremendous piece of literature to play with here, don't you?
Yes, it's I wouldn't say risk like we were saying, but it's huge. It's a huge show, and to top it off, this is the Indiana Players' 40th season. So this is the inaugural show of our 40th season, and it is also the very first show that the Indiana Players produced back in 1977.
Wow. Is anybody around who was still in that show?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Jim Chapman. You know, he comes to every show still, and the rest of the founders they come pretty often as well.
All right. So when you get your hands on a play such as this, and of course there's the history of the movie. We know it was a Broadway success for a long time before it became a movie, and you finally get a chance at it. What are some of the things that go through your mind as you consider what you're going to be doing?
It's pressure. It is because you know, people have a certain picture in their mind about what they're going to see, and I want to stay true to that, but also add my own creativity to make it, you know, the special Indiana Players stamp on it.
Yeah. No, Dave Cavill. It just seems to me that Elwood P. Dowd is, knowing your demeanor and having talked with you over the years on with other productions, Elwood P. Dowd seems to be right in the wheelhouse here, doesn't it?
Yeah, drunk lunatic. That's exactly right. Yeah, no, it's actually a very interesting role because he seems happy-go-lucky, but he's also very perceptive, and he always has something to say about life that all the other characters kind of take from him, and that you sort of realize something about themselves through his, you know, sometimes seemingly goofy on the surface sayings and all his interactions with Harvey. Yeah, so it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, one of the interesting things I've always thought about that role is he's the one that really is the thinker. Everybody else sort of lets life happen to them and reacts to it, and he's actually given thought to what goes on.
That's absolutely right. I mean, you know, it's one of those things. He has the advantage because he's rich, he has a large inheritance, so he has the time to think. But everybody else is caught up in all the day-to-day minutia, and he just sort of ponders life and makes friends. I think that's kind of the important thing there, is that everybody else is so concerned about their business, he's more concerned about the people around him.
And one of those people he deals with and does so well is Vita, his sister.
Yep.
Sharon Smith, you step into this tremendous role, which, boy, it's just right, isn't it?
Oh, she's a wonderful character. I've enjoyed her immensely.
Oh, yeah. Now, did you ever picture yourself playing this role?
No.
No?
No, I had actually auditioned for another part, but when I read her character, I fell in love with her.
Oh, yeah? You have experience with the role, though? You've seen the movie?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Vita, is she someone who aligns closely with the way that you are, or is this
sometimes
stepping out here?
Sometimes,
really?
yes. I seem to be forming a pattern of getting cast with kind of mentally challenged challenged individuals in some shows.
Uh-huh. Well, she is so controlled by her emotions, and
She's very emotional,
Yes.
which is very true to
and
me.
she's very caring about her brother Elwood.
She
even though-
loves her brother Elwood.
Yeah, and her niece as well.
Her daughter.
Her daughter.
Her
I'm sorry.
daughter, Myrtle
Elwood's
May.
niece, Myrtle May.
Myrtle May, and that is Katrina Caden.
Yeah. So my goodness, what a cast you must have, Mr. Herring, to deal with. And the roles themselves are so rich. Myrtle May is one, the judge is another, the doctors and the nurse. And so who were some of the people that we're going to see in some of those roles?
Well, I was lucky enough to get an abundance of auditioners, so I ended up with a cast of 11 that's pretty talented. We have Eric Whitmer. He plays Wilson, the hospital attendant.
The orderly.
The orderly, yes. And we have Katrina Caden playing Myrtle May. We have Jim Resch playing Judge Gaffney, and Michael Schwartz playing Dr. Chumley. James Suman playing Dr. Sanderson. Heather Connor Nar playing the cab driver. And who am I missing here? Martha Buckley playing Mrs. Chauvenet.
Oh, okay. So you get them all together and you come up with this final production. Now, as the rehearsals have gone on and you begin to see it come together, are there things that have surprised you about the performances that you've been able to see?
I've come to respect the script a lot more than when I first read it.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen the movie once. Now, of course, the script is, stage script is different than the movie. But when I first read the stage script, I don't know. I had to read it a few times, but now it's become a part of me, really.
Mm-hmm.
Just I can sense why it is so loved, and especially in this area.
Yeah. The setup and the scenes, 3 acts, 2 acts?
It's a 3-act show, and it takes place in the Dowd Library and in the sanitarium, and that was a huge challenge for our, smaller stage.
Mm-hmm.
So Nikolai Zornik is my set designer, and we came up with just an amazing set. I mean, people should go just to check out the things that we did with the set.
Yeah, I bet you it's something else. Dave Cavill playing Elwood P. Dowd. As you have taken on this role, has he come to take over you a little bit? And do you notice changes in your life simply because you're playing a guy who is so laid back?
Well, first off, my Jimmy Stewart impression has not improved. So, unlike Josh Widdowson, our good friend here, who actually does have a good one, I am terrible, so I'm not even going to try it. So, one of the things I always try to do is kind of, even if there's a movie version or a well-known play version, I do try to make the character my own. But one of the things is, just taking a little bit of time walking around Indiana and appreciating what we have here. So that's a real fine place to be, especially in the fall. We have everybody back in town now, all the IUP students, and that was one of the things I just mentioned. I have not seen this before, but I've seen so many kids with their phones out actually recording the crosswalk.
Oh, yeah?
As this is Jimmy Stewart. Oh, there
The Rich Little.
I said I wasn't going to try it, but there it was.
In that case, you'd be imitating Rich Little.
Hey, this is Rich Little as
So you'd
Jimmy
be
Stewart,
okay.
yeah.
You would be all right with that.
Yeah, but I was just totally surprised that everybody would be like, "Oh wow, listen to that." So I mean, it's a great little touch that Indiana has, and I'm real pleased to be a part of something that has a history here.
Yeah, Sharon, what about you with playing Vita? Has it been a role that you've said, "Wow, are people really like this? Am I ever like this?" And you've said, "Wow, I've got to get that one buttoned up. I need to control myself a little bit more."
Well, I am an emotional person, and Vita is controlled by her emotions, but I don't think I go to the extremes that Vita has in this performance. But she does get welcomed into Elwood and Harvey's world later, so I don't want to give anything away.
Knowing that role, though, it must just be a pure joy to be able to do it.
Oh, it is. She is
It's
wonderfully
rich, isn't it?
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been able to sort of take on the role and become Vita.
Yeah. I enjoy her one extreme to the other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because she does do a roller coaster through most of her scenes.
Oh, she sure does. She sure does. The play is Harvey, directed by Bill Herring, with a cast that you've heard of thousands, it seems. But they are some of the people who are real stalwarts of the Indiana players. So 40 years, David, of course, I've had you in here numerous times as a director and as an actor.
Yep.
Bill, you've been in here before many times as well. Sharon, I don't think I've ever had you in the studio before, have I?
No.
No. How long have you been with Indiana players?
I have been with the players since the early 80s.
Wow, you've been there a long time. Where
Yes.
have you been? You need to get in here to Indiana in the morning more often.
Usually I'm working.
Oh,
so.
okay. Well, that's certainly understandable. But let's spend just a couple of moments talking about 40 years of the Indiana players and what that means for community theater. Bill?
I think it's an amazing achievement because unlike a lot of small theaters, nonprofit theaters, we do shows year-round. Every 5 weeks we're turning over, doing another show. Once this show ends, that day, the set comes down and we'll have people in starting their rehearsals for the next show. I mean, we do this non-stop, forever and ever, it seems sometimes, but I don't see that in a lot of other small nonprofit theaters.
Yeah. And David, of course, you having been with Indiana players for a number of years, I'm sure 40 years means a lot to you too.
Well, it does. It's just slightly more time than I've been around. But yeah, no, I was involved in high school as a teenager, and came off, did some adventuring in the world, and came back. I guess it's been 8 years. Bill and I started right about the same time, really getting involved year-round. The important thing to remember is that throughout that entire time, it's been all volunteer, so anybody can walk off the street and just participate. So that's one of the things that I think is really great. So sometimes you get some turnover, but then you do get people who have been around for many, many years, and they share their experiences and teach the craft. And you don't have to be the best actor to participate. You don't have to have any technical ability to come in and participate, but you can learn some skills. You can learn some carpentry or costuming. I learned how to run a sewing machine. So, there are a lot of skills that aren't just theater related that the Indiana players in the Philadelphia Street Playhouse have actually taught me. So I think that is, a fantastic asset and resource for the community to have, in addition to the entertainment.
Absolutely it is. There are skills that people are walking around with in their pockets that could be used for the Indiana players and for any number of other ventures, and I'm certainly sure that everybody would welcome them in. If somebody wants to become involved, what do they need to do?
They could message us on our Facebook page. They can talk to one of the board members directly, or they could check out our auditions and come to the audition, even if they don't want to be on the stage, and tell the director, this is what I can do for you, and see what happens.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Bill Herring, Dave Cavill, Sharon Smith, thanks for being with us this morning.
Yep, our pleasure.
Harvey at the Indiana Theater, or actually not at the Indiana Theater, at the Philadelphia Street Playhouse by the Indiana Players, next 2 weekends. Friday and Saturday shows at 7:30, Sunday matinees at 2:30. 2:30. Very good. Thank you so much for being with us. It's Indiana in the Morning, AM 1160 WCCS.